Hey guys, welcome back to Film Recap here today. I am going to explain a movie called Disobedience. Rav Krushka preaches in an Orthodox synagogue. He talked about how God created man and woman, but gave them the strength to disobey. In the end, he passed out. Rav Krushka is a photographer based in Manhattan. While she was busy getting pictures of people with tattoos, she learns of her father's death. Hurt by the terrible news, Ronit decides to get drunk in a local bar and slept with a stranger. Then she went skating alone on the ice rink. Afterward, she opens her clothes to reveal a silver necklace. Although worried and scared, Ronit decided to go home. She approached Rabbi David's house. Ronit was happy to see David, but he told him they weren't expecting it. Let her come. She tries to kiss David, but he refuses her. David tells Ronit that there are people who honor his father, as if to prepare Ronit for the upcoming stress. David tells Ronit that his father died of pneumonia. Although there was a certain tension in the atmosphere, Fruma, Ronit's aunt, welcomed you warmly. However, his uncle, Moshe, is much cooler than he reveals. Feeling stressed, David took Ronit into the kitchen for coffee. Ronit was about to leave soon, but David urged her to stay indoors. David asks if she is really here to mourn Rav, reminding Ronit that she is always unpredictable. Ronit insists that is his goal, but she redirects the conversation and starts teasing David about the woman he's married to. Suddenly, Esti interrupted the conversation and revealed that she was married David. Ronit is shocked by this revelation and seems angry because no one told him, even though the three of them were close before. To protect them, Esti mentions that Ronit has gone missing. Ronit went out to smoke while David accompanies her, persuading her to behave appropriately at the funeral. Always. Ronit is sad and angry that she was not informed about her father's illness. David left disappointed when Ronit refused to budge. She then sees David performing a ceremony and joins them as they take a walk outside. She saw Esti in front, looking closely behind her. Soon, Esti led Ronit to the bedroom where she would sleep. Beware of tension between them, Ronit asked if she should spend the night somewhere else, but Esti told her to do whatever she wanted. Ronit decided to stay. When David came into the room to lend her a blanket, Ronit discovered a story about Rav's death in the local newspaper, citing that he died childless. This annoyed Ronit, but David told her it was just lazy journalism. Ronit wonders if Rav ever loved her. Soon after, David and Esti wish Ronit good night, but before leaving, she gives them a present, a collection of his photos, and asks if they are satisfied with their marriage. David and Esti confirm this and leave. The next day, Esti wakes up next to David and tries to reassert her feelings. Gave him a passionate kiss, interrupting his morning prayers. Ronit visits his father's grave. Afterwards, Esti went to Roseman School after taking free time. The students and teachers greeted him warmly. Then, David met with his students as they discussed the scriptures. That moment, Ronit ate alone in the cafe and looked dazed. In the evening, Esti makes love to David, but something goes wrong. Afterward, after new prayers, David, Esti, and Ronit go dinner at Hartug Mansion with Rabbi Goldfarb and Rabbi Goldfarb. The conversation seems to be going well. They discuss Ronit's success as a photographer. However, Rabbanit started hunting her for using Ronnie Curtis as her career name. Esti joins, mentions of wives taking their husbands' names all the time until their own affairs are gone. Everyone was shocked by Esti's controversial comments. Ronit's life in New York is once again questioned by Rabbanit, wondering why Ronit is still unmarried and how a woman should live. Ronit disagrees, calling marriage an institutional requirement and claiming she will sacrifice herself if she stays in the community and gets married. This shocked everyone, so Ronit blamed her for being late for the plane and apologized. Esti asks David to take Ronit home, so he follows her. Ronit wondered if her father knew. She loves him, so David assures her that he loves her. He struggles to comfort his childhood friend, without breaking the rules of his religion, as he was forbidden to touch other women. The next day, Ronit found his uncle Hartog at the hairdresser to continue conversation about the sale of his father's property. However, Hartog informs Ronit that Rav has delivered him to the synagogue. Ronit leaves and finds Esti waiting for him in front of a grocery store. They go to Rav's house together. It's a mess filled with medical equipment. It's not really the house that Ronit wanted, but his father acknowledged his existence in the will. Right after that, Ronit asked her if she should go home early. However, Esti walks up to her, hugs her, and tells her that she doesn't want her to share out. Love is rekindled, and they share a kiss. When things got worse, Ronit catches Esti's attention, reminding her that she is married. Ronit leaves and Esti tries to calm down, two people apologizing to each other. But when Ronit left the house, they started kissing again. However, Esti told Ronit that she was the one who called Shul to inform him about the death of his father. She then tells Ronit that although she is not romantically in love with David, she married him because she respected him. After all, she is mentally ill about Ronit's sudden disappearance, so she heeded Rav's suggestion to marry David. As they discuss what happened, Ronit learns that Esti has changed a lot since leaving, at the same time learning to absorb traditional values. Both revealed that they have never been with other women. Esti admits she still only has loved women. The two wander to the place where they first kissed. Finally, they entered a court and started kissing. Suddenly, the presence of husband and wife, Hinda and Lev, interrupted them. Esti immediately hid her face and rushed home. Hinda asked if the woman she sees is Esti, but Ronit denies it. When Esti arrived, she kissed David, but their marriage still lacks the passion she has for Ronit. The next day, Esti was summoned by the director, Mrs. Shapiro, where Hinda and Lev are waiting to confront him. Meanwhile, David talks to other officials about the Shul takeover. Final. One of the men asked if Esti might be distracted by Ronit's return. However, David makes sure he keeps the house tidy, but he is a little hesitant. When Esti left school, Ronit waited. She is outside. The two rush to a place where no one was looking at them. Esti is reluctant to reveal anything, but she tells Ronit that they can't. Then, Ronit assures her that she will leave tomorrow, but Esti doesn't want that. As they struggle with their attraction to each other, Ronit took Esti out of the city for a while. The two walked quietly through the streets of central London, where no one could see them. Ronit couldn't contain his attraction and dragged Esti into a dark alley, where they kissed passionately. Then the two held hands. They check into a hotel where they make love passionately. Next, the two talk about how Rav first learned of their past relationship. Afterwards, Ronit took a photo of Esti as she smoked a cigarette. Meanwhile, David searches for Esti in their house, but she is not there. Esti goes home and apologizes for being late. She starts a conversation with David, but he ignores her. As she stood on their bed, David hugged her from behind and tried to initiate intimacy. But Esti's confused emotions rebuked David's advances. The next day, Esti got nauseous and wondered if she was pregnant. Hurley. David confronts her about the complaints against her. David asks her to tell the truth, so Esti confesses that she kissed Ronit. She apologizes. But David gets angry and asks what's wrong with her. Esti reveals that she texted Ronit about her father's death. But David thinks Ronit is using her. David still denies it, but Esti reveals that she has always liked girls, even when she was still young. She said that she always wanted to be with Ronit. Heartbroken and frustrated, David walks away. Esti shouts at Ronit, who asks her to leave David. Esti asks where is she going, but Ronit just kept silent. Esti left because she was late for school. David attended a ceremony about Rav's death where a choir performed. David, staring at people, unable to deal with the past that haunts them. Meanwhile, Ronit sat alone in the cafe, observing the people around him. Looking for a place to soothe her senses, David goes to a quiet library where he pours a glass of whiskey. After that, he returned home to have dinner with Esti and Ronit. The atmosphere is quiet and tense as David prays before eating. Ronit breaks the tension by saying that she has booked a flight that will depart tonight. David seemed relieved at her decision, but Esti looked heartbroken and couldn't hold back her tears. David asks Esti what she will do. However, Esti did not know. Sensing the growing tension, Ronit told them she would start packing. Then, when Ronit leaves, the two say a difficult goodbye. When Ronit walked through the door, Esti slammed the door shut and couldn't hold back her tears. Meanwhile, Esti was staring passionately at the bed where David was sleeping. Elle make the decision to go to the station and the pharmacy. She looks, pregnancy test, and look at it for a while before deciding to buy. Esti returned to her hotel room with a pregnancy test. She worriedly prayed, while swinging back and forth, but ended up crying. The next morning, Ronit was awakened by noises from the airport. She chose quickly. Your luggage, walk to airport security and stand in line. However, while he waited there, his phone rang. As she answered it, she heard David frantically telling her that Esti was missing. Ronit tells her she is not with Esti and asks to call David again after she goes through security. Ronit went through security, telling the person behind the desk that she was flying to New York. After that, Ronit decided to help David find Esti. Ronit watched David frantically, who doesn't say a word while driving. After not finding Esti, the two return home, where David is still there. Find out if Esti has arrived. However, David left empty-handed. Ronit went to the tree where she and Esti first kissed. She scanned the area, but to no avail. The two return home again. David expressed his frustration with Ronit, tells her that he wishes Esti had never contacted her. Ronit tells her she's happy. Esti did it because his father died, because David had no intention of telling him about Rav's death. David revealed that he didn't tell her about it because he was protecting his wife. Hearing everything, Esti appeared from above. She told David she's pregnant. David was overjoyed, thinking a child would settle their loveless marriage. However, Esti reveals that she no longer wants to be with David. Tell her that she wants her child to be free to decide. She asks David to free her. Heartbroken because his dream of becoming a father has gone up in smoke, David adamantly leaves, leaving Ronit and Esti alone. Both women attended Hesped at the synagogue despite the judgmental glances from the community. Esti tries to make up with David, but he ignores her. In the end, Ronit tries to convince Esti to move out. Went to New York with her after being touched by the temple's atmosphere. They keep hands as David stepped onto the podium and fumbled through Rav's eulogy. As he speaks, David sees Ronit in the crowd and instead contemplates freedom of choice, a topic that Rav talked about in his last speech. David officially grants freedom to Esti and take no responsibility for the new position assigned to him. David, on the verge of tears, left the synagogue, much to everyone's shock. Outside, David and Esti make up and kiss. Ronit saw the two, but hesitated to approach them. Seeing Ronit, David spread his arms wide and persuaded her to come and hug her. The three childhood friends kissed each other long and sincerely. Ronit was going to the airport the next morning. She said goodbye with David and went to Esti, who was fast asleep on the couch. They are parting because Esti decided not to go to New York with Ronit. Ronit said goodbye. Esti chased Ronit as his taxi drove away, and the two share a long goodbye kiss while vowing to keep in touch. Afterwards, Ronit visited her father's grave one last time and took a picture. She finally got the closure she so desperately wanted all these years. The film ends here. Subscribe for more videos, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel. Thank you for watching.